Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about the meeting that just occurred today between Trump lawyers and the DOJ, which now sets the stage for the January 6th indictment to be returned against Donald Trump. All right. From the time of the target letter, which has been about 10 days, in many people's surmises, including mine, the only thing really left to happen before an indictment would be returned was a meeting, a last-ditch meeting with defendants' lawyers and career people in the DOJ working on the case. That's just a courtesy that is afforded defendants. And when you get a target letter, if you decline to testify, as Trump received a target letter 10 days ago, 11 days ago, actually, and declined to testify, the issue was, okay, when's this meeting going to happen? Hasn't maybe happened by Zoom. As it seemed for a moment, is he going to turn down the meeting? Why would anyone turn down the meeting? But that's what everyone has been waiting for, at least I've been waiting for, as the last step before an indictment's being returned. So today, Thursday, the grand jury, first of all, is meeting in the 1-6 case, and people saw Todd Blanche and John Luro, two of Trump's lawyers, show up to meet at DOJ. And there's no doubt about it. It would be clear anyway, but Trump did social media after saying we had a productive meeting and saying, as my lawyers informed them, I've done nothing wrong. And this was an interesting tidbit, I think, that the press so far hasn't picked up on. I relied on many lawyers. So that suggests he is going to be trying, among other things, to advance an advice of counsel defense, to say the lawyers told me what I was doing was okay. Now, that is not an easy thing to prevail on. We'll talk more about it, I think, in a future YouTube. But basically, you've got to waive your rights of attorney-client privilege and then play a complete open hand and show that the lawyer knew all there was to know and told you very clearly things that were wrong under the law. It's the kind of thing that almost never succeeds. But it's interesting to me because it's the kind of defense that defendants make when they really know they're guilty and they want to say, but it wasn't my fault because lawyers told me that I could. Okay, so this meeting takes place, and now really the indictment could happen any time, including even today. Typically, the Department of Justice will take a day or 2 or 3 to consider what a defendant has told them. It's only professional and sort of fair to really chew on things. Now, we think probably that what the Trump folks had to say was nothing new. So they likely have already thought it through and it already was integrated into the decision to indict. So basically no chance it changes things, but do they want to give it a day or 2? And that would translate into perhaps the next day that the grand jury meets on Tuesday, an indictment then, but there's no legal reason that they couldn't summon the grand jury for, tomorrow or Monday as well. And as I say, even the end of the day, but it would seem very abrupt having just gotten the information from the defendants. Now, I've been in a lot of these meetings. When I was U.S. attorney, I always afforded defendants a chance to come in, and I listened carefully, and there were occasions when they made a point that persuaded me, maybe about a particular charge or whatever. It's, these are not mere charades, but at this point, with the Trump case having been so carefully worked out, almost certainly, I would say, gone up to the front office, Garland and Monaco, there's nothing new under the sun here. The meeting itself, people have been wondering about that. What was it like? It was one way, is the best way to put it. The DOJ is in listening mode. They'll hear out anything that the Trump lawyers say. There's always a savvy defense lawyer can always try to score some points here. Maybe if they're completely guilty, it's about conditions of release or a certain kind of theory or why it's going to be a practical problem for the government. Something there's some colorable argument on to give the government pause. There doesn't seem to be any indication that that's what happened here. Rather, it was the sort of old, tired arguments, but including the advice of counsel defense. So at this point, there are other people that are going to be talking with investigators, but you don't need a grand jury for them. We've talked about that point before. And really, I think Smith is focused on speed and also is aware of Fani Willis and the likelihood that her charges come quite soon. So I anticipate that, they'll give it some considered thought, but they've, come out where they already have. Bring the indictment. It might not even be sealed. It depends on whether they want to keep it a bit under wraps for security reasons. But at this point, some of the due process reasons for sealing something don't pertain, depending, of course, and here's going to be a big point. We've talked about this before. Who else is in the indictment, or is it just Trump for now? But, you can imagine scenarios of today, tomorrow, Tuesday, but it's coming soon, and there's really nothing left of significance to happen before asking a grand jury to return an indictment for attempts to actually derail an election and our whole democratic system with its core principle of peaceful transfer of power against a former president of the United States. Just historic and, the biggest and most infamous crime that any president has ever committed against the republic. Coming soon, and we'll know a lot more when it does about the different theories and the like. Until then, talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.